Hello everybody and welcome to Dicing with Death, the D&D show where we do one player, one DM, and see where the adventures take us. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing well. Hopefully all technical issues resolved and we'll get a full session in this evening.
Yes. I think they are resolved. So, we kind of got cut off last week. Do we want to keep what we did in that like 20 minutes canon, or do we want to redo it? Summarize it.
I don't want to, nothing happened. You rested.
We rested, and I told the Knolls I was going to give them the Ruby Mine if they got me to Sinteron, and we were headed to Yavis first, I think, to get a boat to Sinteron.
That was the plan, I believe. You hadn't actually left.
Yeah.
So you can see the Twitch VOD for our. Basically, we got through the recap and then stream crash.
Yeah.
So not going to bother recapping. We are currently. Do you have the map up on stream?
I'm moving it on stream right now. There you go.
So Qualnir is currently in this jungle. There's the Ruby Mine that you pilfered two sessions ago, I guess. Last full session. That was probably not even a full session. We don't do full sessions anymore, man.
It'll come back, man. It'll come back. we got to get out of Intel. Intel's crazy.
Yeah. So it is pretty much the end of the day. You are rested. The Knolls are ready to go. So at your command.
All right, at my command, we start going. It's the Gnoll leader, the Flynn, and two of his guys are coming with him, right?
Yes. Two more are staying behind.
Right. Okay. Do either of the the Knolls look injured?
I actually don't recall. You can't discern the difference.
Okay.
So, meaning I will be re-rolling their HP if it comes to combat, just because I can't keep track of.
Right.
There were 9 initially.
Right.
So this is 2 of the 9. I'll just roll them a fresh 2d8 when you get to combat.
Okay.
In game terms, they're so battle scarred you can't really discern what's fresh and what's new. They don't exactly have the best
healthcare system.
Yeah, exactly. So they've got a few festering wounds, but those could just as easily be old as fresh.
Okay. What route are we taking to Yavis?
That's up to you. I'm even kind for giving you a map, aren't I?
Well, I already kind of know the map. I've done it before with them. Well, I guess we're just going to follow the river. And then there was that pulley system that we used to raise the Lizardman boat up the waterfall.
Yeah, that's the waterfall's there. I mean, you're...
Oh, we're north of the waterfall? I thought the Ruby Mine was south of the waterfall, but downstream of the waterfall.
You are actually correct. So apparently this map is not very accurate. I'll go ahead. I can go ahead and move it for you, but I don't know that Qualnir's understanding of the region is much better.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, I guess we're just gonna...
it's more like maybe over here. So it was down that fork of the river, you're right.
Right, it was the top fork. North fork. Okay.
So I guess it's a little further, yeah.
We'll just go back to the river and follow the river up, and then see how that goes. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. I do want to make some actions when we get to the waterfall, though.
So you will try and find the waterfall.
Yeah, I think we're just going to head upriver, get to the waterfall.
Do you instruct Jakob as much, or?
Yeah, I say let's head for the. Unless you have a better idea, let's head for the waterfall.
Very well. Roll a wisdom check, I guess. Yeah.
A willpower check?
Unless you can come up with something better.
For
I'm just think to navigate through the jungle.
perception?
I think the DMG might even give you like a percentage chance to get lost, but
yes, there are specific rules for getting lost in the DMG and Player's Handbook.
all right.
DMG.
Dig them up. I'll dig them up.
Excellent.
Because it is pitch black. You do have keen elven eyes, and the gnolls seem well suited for the jungle. Both of these gnolls actually have machetes, which they use to carve a path for you.
Okay.
But you have no view of the sky, really. The canopy is thick.
But I mean, once we find the river, it shouldn't be too hard to just follow the river.
Yeah, that's what I want to roll for, to see if you can find the river before getting turned around.
Okay. Cool.
In the meantime, do you want to put on some ambiance?
Ooh, I completely forgot about that. Yeah.
I think there's one called like Zingdu Nights or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It's got like a picture of a jungle thing. So tabletopaudio.com, is that the right plug?
Tabletopaudio.com.
Background music courtesy of
Swamplandia?
tabletopaudio.com. Check them out. All of this stuff is open source licensed. So very kind of him to share that with all of us. I don't know the guy's name, the composer who does it.
I've forgotten his name already.
Cool. Oh, drop things. Getting Lost. There's a whole section on it.
His name is Tim.
Ooh, Tim. Yeesh.
I hope this is audible on stream. I think it should be.
Untested. So, it basically leaves it up to modifiers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a percentage chance, and you're not looking good. Unless you can think. So it's based on terrain type, and there is a modifier for darkness.
But it wasn't quite evening when we set off.
Yeah, but it will eventually be. There's a modifier for local guard and landmark sighted, things along those lines, directions.
Okay.
But most of them, local guide and directions are variable. So it basically it's over 100% chance of getting lost, and then I'm supposed to modify.
Awesome.
So it's basically DM's discretion whether you get lost.
All right, DM, bring it on.
Isn't this game great?
So I love second edition.
Yeah, so I'm going to pretend like I'm rolling, but it actually doesn't matter. All right, so you sort of meander around the jungle for a while. It takes you a couple of hours. It's also very difficult terrain to travel through, so your movement rate is reduced significantly.
Mm-hmm.
But within a couple of hours, you break free from the dense jungle, and you are greeted. I mean, you've sort of been following what you thought was the sound of a river for a few minutes. And you break free from the jungle and step onto some smooth, round stones, and are greeted with the sight of the river before you.
Excellent. I wipe the sweat off my brow.
You're not entirely sure where you are, but I mean, you can see the map. You're somewhere on that stretch of river.
Well, I put my hand in the river to figure out the flow of the water, and I make sure it is heading to my left. Well, the water is flowing to my left.
Very clever. Yes, indeed it is.
Excellent. I keep the river on my left side, and we trek.
It is now full-fledged darkness, middle of the night, the witching hour. You do have a clear night, so overhead you see stars. Not that I don't believe Qualnir has any ability to navigate by stars, but
No, I don't
they're
think
there.
So. Okay. All
And
right.
you are presumably heading due west along the river.
All right.
Did you say you had actions you wanted to perform
When we get to the waterfall.
when you get to the waterfall?
Yeah. Which I also think is where Lucifron is.
Indeed, indeed.
I had yeah.
Okay. So nothing really significant. In fact, it's eerily quiet. I mean, there's the usual background noise of the wind rustling through the trees and the water, but sounds of life are somewhat reduced. And you
Okay.
have another, maybe an hour walk along the river. You're kind of going slow because it's dark and the rocky shore is pretty easy to twist an ankle or run into trouble. So you're taking it slow. Within about another hour, you hear the roar of the waterfalls, and a few minutes later, you round a bend in the river, and you see this massive pool, the culmination of these three river forks,
Excellent.
river trikes, as you will.
Okay.
And a massive waterfall above.
What sort of moon cycle are we on here?
It's about halfway. Waxing, a waxing gibbous or something. Is that what it's called? Approaching full, but
Wouldn't
still
it
like
be-
a week off.
Oh, okay. So you do 28 and 0 are full moon, and then 14 would be a half moon or a new moon.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
a waxing gibbous.
Actually, no. If zero is a new moon,
If 0 is a new moon, then
so
we
it's
are
waning gibbous.
waning
so it's
gibbous.
half full and on its way to being no moon.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yay for elementary school astronomy.
The moon it's somewhat obscured by the canopy, but it's still sort of shedding light generally across the sky.
Okay.
You approach the bank of the pool.
Yeah, we
you
approach the pool and take a
Fully
short
expect
rest there.
to find a spirit haunting it.
I
Or
do.
maybe you don't.
I'm kind of hoping on the spirit now. My plans have all kind of shifted a little bit.
Roll for me a perception check.
D20
The
plus
Knolls are
9.
no longer taking the lead. They've the three of them have sort of fanned out.
14.
You're taking up the whole riverbank. But you are taking the lead. You do not notice anything. You reach the edge of the pool.
Mm-hmm. And
You're
I-
somewhere near where you expect to see where you first met
okay.
Lucifron.
I
You can't
turned
be entirely sure.
to the Knolls and asked them if they remember. Well, wait, when we raised the boat up the waterfall, we climbed up a separate path, right?
Yeah, there's like a series of ladders and walkways and switchbacks leading up the vertical cliff face.
Okay. I asked the Knolls if they remember where that path is.
Okay, about this time you actually hear one of the gnolls bark, and you turn to see him leaping at some white bird that is flapping its wings and taking flight, trying to get away.
Is he killing an
Hovering.
egret? An innocent egret?
That's what it looks like. It looks pretty damn big to be an egret, though. You're not entirely sure. This is about maybe 30 feet away
Is it
from
a
you.
super swan?
You're not sure. Do you want to roll initiative, or
No, I
how
just
are
want to
you
watch.
going to...
I just want to watch from now.
Just want to watch? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. It looks like a really fucking big seagull. You can't catch a glimpse, but maybe
A
an
really big
albatross.
seagull. Oh, okay.
And it's still lingering in the area, but it's sort of hovering about 20 feet in the air, sort of circling.
Okay. I have no interest in joining, but I do want to watch the spectacle.
Okay. There are sort of the the two gnolls. Jakob is sort of sitting back like you. The two gnolls are chasing this creature, barking at it and sort of following underneath. This goes on for maybe 2 minutes, and eventually the creature starts to make its way towards you. Circling lower.
I draw some darts and want to roll initiative.
Okay. Roll d10.
8.
You indeed go first.
Okay. D20 plus 4. Now, darkness, I don't know how, like, if we're both in low light vision, then the penalties, like, negate each other, but I don't know if I get an advantage for
that's fine. No bonus, no penalties. I won't include any bonus in its armor class.
Okay. Well, a 19.
That's a hit.
D3, 1 damage to the thingy. And I mark off a dart.
Okay, you strike the creature in its wing and it plummets. Lands on a rock next to you. Okay, it starts limping towards you, but the gnolls dive. So roll an intelligence check.
22?
Okay, so as the gnoll is sinking its teeth into the albatross's throat, you hear a familiar voice speak, presumably from the albatross, saying, "I have received word from the..." As the gnoll chokes the life out of the creature.
I throw my dart at the gnoll immediately and say, "Stop! Stop!"
You have your 2 attacks at the end of the round.
Yeah. D20 plus 4. I'll let you apply any back attack or surprise or anything.
That is not a hit.
Even with
attack.
Surprise
He's wearing
or
armor.
I mean, he's clearly not expecting
no
me to dart
effective. I mean, he wasn't expecting you to hit him with a dart, but they are like alert for battle, as the case may be, or face stomping some helpless birds.
Second attack is a 21.
That is a hit. Are you attacking the one that is...
That is eating the bird that was trying to speak to me.
Alright, roll for damage.
3 damage to the gnoll. And I yell, "Stop it! It speaks!"
The dart sticks in the creature's back, but he appears unconcerned and proceeds to eat the...
roll the fucking 16, didn't
you
he,
can
on
roll,
his HP.
roll initiative if you want.
What a dick. 4 initiative.
Alright, you do go first. So the gnoll that got first bite is proceeding to eat this creature. However, you get the jump on him.
I leap forward with Bloodletter and a normal dagger. Bloodletter first.
In the background, you hear the yipping of the Flynn.
A 14? 14 with back attack? 16 with back attack?
Let me double check my monstrous manual. That may actually be a hit with the back attack.
Yeah, because he doesn't have better than
16. Yeah, 16 is a hit.
Sweet. D4. Are these gnolls large size?
They are indeed large.
Shit. D3 plus... I guess that previous dart should actually have been a D2 instead of a D3, if they're large.
Okay.
I can reroll that. But my current attack deals 4 damage. Here's my reroll of the D3. It was actually a 2. Okay. So a total of 6 damage to this guy, and I gain 2 HP.
Yes, you do gain 2 HP. And you... Okay, the gnoll is pretty clear that you are attacking him.
And my second attack, my offhand, is a 17.
That's a hit.
17, 18, 19 with back attack. And just a flat D... Shit, a D3 for damage. D3 for damage. 1. So 7 damage total to the gnoll.
Alright, you stick both blades in the gnoll's back.
Oh! Back attack! Back attack damage!
Oh shit, totally forgot. Is that
totally forgot.
3d6?
2d6. an extra 2d6, but I get it. Do I get it twice?
No.
No, you're only given one backstab.
I'm just gonna give you one.
Okay.
Just on the first. I don't even know if you. I mean, I'm
Or
gonna allow it.
2d4.
I think the dart might have given away. Well, no. I rolled for it, and he critically missed his perception check.
Okay.
He had no idea where that sting in his back came from.
Here's the extra 2d3.
But I think once
4.
they know your existence, all right, that's enough to bring him down. And since that was a blood letter, you gain that 2 HP.
Score.
If you need it. And the gnoll falls into a heap on top of the albatross. The other gnoll... takes a step back from you and draws his machete.
Okay.
And looks back and forth between you and Jakob. No creature is making an action.
Actions
may be ready. But
okay. I go to the albatross.
Okay, you have to pull the gnoll's lifeless corpse off of it.
Pull the lifeless corpse off of it. Go to the bird and look at it. Is it alive still? Is there any hope of?
Are you checking for a pulse?
I mean, is it like twitching? Is it flopping about? Is it like squirming, or is it just like?
It is not twitching. Roll an intelligence check.
28.
I don't know which is better. Either stat, and that would be
a 20 or a 28 then.
Yeah, there is blood still flowing from the wound. It's breathing, but it is unconscious and not.
I attempt to bind the albatross's wounds. Can I use that 28 intel check?
No, I'm going to make you roll a second intel check, but I'm not going to give you any penalties for not knowing about albatrosses because you did so well on that first one.
16.
Nope. You don't. You can continue to try every round until it actually dies.
Score.
I can't believe I'm going into negative hit dice for a fucking albatross.
Yeah, you are. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep binding its wounds until I can bind its wounds.
Roll another one next round. So this is
24.
Round 3.
Yeah.
24 is a success.
Score.
You grab a scrap of fabric. Scrap of fabric, probably from the gnoll, and stop the bleeding. The creature's breath is shallow. It altogether weighs like 5 pounds. So you're going to need to include that in your inventory if you're planning on carrying the unconscious albatross back to town. And considering all the shit you're beginning to pile up. All right.
I'm still good on the weight. I'm still really good on the weight.
All right. At this point, Jakob has strut over, looking slightly more serious. He sort of kicks the gnoll's body and then says to you, "Now, why'd you have to go and kill one of my boys?"
Did you hear that bird? It was speaking, and he was trying to eat it. The bird has more value alive to us than dead, and your fool of a boy couldn't figure that out.
Gnolls aren't free.
Well, think about this. All that money that I gave you, you have to split with one less person now. I guess I put the bird in my bag, and
a little too big to fit in your bag. You manage to like tie it to your backpack, but it's like strapped to the outside, and you rig up some sort of little like backpack, like a baby Bjorn, one of those little baby carriers.
Oh god, like
with an albatross dangling out of it, a papoose with an albatross in it.
All right, I do it. I kind of look around and say that we should wait until sunup before we try and scale the waterfall.
Say that again? How?
I say that we should wait until sunup before we try and climb the cliff near the waterfall.
All right. Do you make camp, or how do you? And what do you do with the gnoll's body? Or I guess so.
I just kick the gnoll's body into the river.
Okay. Yeah. Do you allow the remaining gnoll to loot the corpse? He seems like he was itching too, but
Oh yeah, I totally let the remaining gnoll loot the corpse.
yeah. So the gnoll's body finds its way into the river after all of its valuables are picked clean. And yeah, are you making camp, or are you can set a fire?
Yeah, we'll make a small fire and make camp.
Fair enough. Roll a perception check.
20. Oof. Just one shy.
So yeah, in the process of setting up the camp, you do come across a spike of white rock protruding from the sand that looks man-made. Its edges look too perfect. In fact, you damn near cut yourself on it as you're like walking to the edge of the forest to gather firewood.
What? Some sort of pyramid sand thing?
It's about 2 feet jutting out of the stony shore. The moonlight is glistening off of it. A brilliant white.
How tall is it?
It's about 2 feet that is exposed.
How thick at the base? How thick at the peak?
All right, so you go over to inspect it.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's less than a centimeter at the base. It's about the same thickness the whole way up, maybe a little slender at the top. One side of it is sharp, like a blade, but it appears to be made of rock or some white stone.
I try and dig it out.
So you spend a few minutes and you dig it out. You see that about an equal length of it protrudes into the sand as well. And in the center, there is a leather-wrapped handle.
What the fuck?
It looks essentially like a sword with another sword coming out of the hilt. So it's like
a sword with two blades, a blade on either end, like a Darth Maul sword.
Yeah, except they're curved blades. Like a scimitar, perhaps.
Yeah, I get you.
And it's made completely out of this white stone. In your hand, it doesn't feel as heavy as it looks. Like the blades are pretty deep. And if it were really made of rock, you would expect it to be a fuck ton heavier.
Okay, writing it down. How much should I say it weighs?
I might even have that written somewhere. Give me just a second. I think you've got to be coming close, or are you going into light encumbrance and not carrying?
If I don't think I'm quite at light encumbrance.
Even with a 5-pound albatross, and I guess the albatross isn't on your back now. Yeah, it only weighs 4 pounds, and it's about a 4.5-foot span of white stone.
With that, I will barely break light I will be lightly encumbered if I have the bird, the weapon, and what's her name's stuff. Michelle's stuff.
Yeah. That won't slow your overland movement right down by much.
No.
Considering, at least through the jungle, a lot of your time is spent waiting for machetes to chop through obstacles.
Yeah. How long is this thing from end to end?
About 4.5 feet. So the blades are probably just over 2 feet, and there's about 6 inches of leather-wrapped handle.
Okay. I want to take a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to just kind of dig around in this area, see if there's anything else kind of buried in the sand.
Yeah, you uncover a leather-bound book, an hourglass made of brass, a knife made of the same white stone. It weighs 1 pound, so consider it a dagger as far as all stats are concerned. And that is that. Yeah. So all pretty much in the same area.
The hourglass weighs 1 pound?
About, not in any bags. The hourglass is negligible.
Okay. I pick up
sand. It's a sand dripping glass. It fits in your hand.
Okay. How much does the book weigh?
The book weighs 5 pounds. It is a hefty leather-bound tome.
Okay. I pick these things up.
Yeah, so you've got all these things bundled in your hands, and you look just to the left of your left foot, and what you thought was a stone is actually a human skull.
Oh shit! I dust it aside and pick it up and look at it.
Okay. Roll an intelligence check.
Investigation.
Yeah, the skull comes
28.
up on its own. It looks more maybe an elven skull, not human.
Yeah. I nod my head slowly and put the skull in my bag as well.
You see buried in the earth is the rib cage. And presumably, if you continue to dig, the rest of the body.
Yeah. I'm going to leave the rest of it there. How much does the skull weigh?
Negligible. It's more of if you have a backpack that you can shove it into. Michelle has plenty of space in her backpack. Yeah. It doesn't weigh much, but... yeah.
Alright. A skull is not negligible. It weighs 10 to 11 pounds, man.
With all the fluid. So maybe say
fluid.
one. It's probably only 1 or 2 as a skull, I would guess.
Okay. No, you're right, because my...
really light. It's completely picked clean and desiccated.
Yeah, I remember my dad has a old human skull in our garage, if you remember. That thing was really lightweight.
My dad has one too.
Yeah.
Today we learned Neil and Ryan's parents were psycho killers.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
My dad
was a science teacher.
I was gonna
human skeleton. Oh, you were gonna make.
I was gonna make it sound like your dad was crazy, and then at the end we could do. But he's really a science teacher.
Former medical cadaver type thing.
Yeah, didn't you?
Science.
Didn't he have a dolphin head at some point?
Shh. That's actually more illegal than the human skeleton, I think.
How is having a dolphin head is illegal?
Yeah, marine mammals are protected, whereas terrestrial mammals...
Well, I figured he just got all of these things through normal, legitimate science sources.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking... Why are you incriminating your dad, Ryan? What are you doing?
Prepare these things.
You know, they had all sorts of cool reptiles and shit. He had a...
living reptiles.
Yeah, big lizards and all sorts, their house was
I guess
a
actually
jungle.
probably a few dead ones because they're from formaldehyde or...
Yeah. Ryan's house literally was the jungle for us. Yeah. Anyway.
The jungles of Yavis. Yes, so you just looted this skeleton. Presumably the Moonblade. And you stuck his head in your bag. I'm assuming Michelle's bag, unless you have another bag and you can fit a skull.
No, I'll just put it in Michelle's bag.
She's going to love that.
I'll take it out before we meet her. Is my bag too full, actually?
You tell me.
Not unless I put the albatross in the bag.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I'll leave it in Michelle's bag. It'll be a little surprise for her. Whatever. We'll find out. We'll figure it out. It stays there for now. And then I, finish collecting my firewood and go back and build the fire.
Yeah, you get the fire. Get the fire going. Take a seat next to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Then the 2 remaining gnolls sit down next to the fire.
Yeah. Sit down next to the fire with the remaining gnolls and just kind of hang out for the night.
Ignore you.
Okay.
So you wait until daylight?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes still wee hours of the morning. You aren't exactly sleeping because you've sort of fucked up your schedule. You basically spent all night you stayed up all night bashing little 8 faces, slept through the day, and now it's that next night.
Yeah, it's
so awkward. You're it's night and dark, so you feel like you should be sleeping, but you can't quite stay down for long. You wake up at some point during this restless rest. Mm-hmm. Probably around 3 or 4 in the morning. The moon's sinking low in the sky, and you see what looks like a cloud settled just overhead, maybe a couple hundred feet in the air. You sort of rub your groggy eyes and focus on it, and you realize that it is the top of the waterfall, and there is a thick fog sort of sitting on top of that ledge on top of the waterfall, and billows of mist are rolling off the falls and sort of evaporating.
I don't remember any fog being here last time I was here.
You've never seen fog.
Ever? Okay.
You've seen fog.
Okay.
CA was full of it, but you've never seen fog. Sorry, you've never seen fog here in the jungle. Never seen fog in this circumstance. It looks eerie. It was meant to be described as eerie.
Yeah, it does sound eerie. But it's morning, right?
No, it's probably 3 or 4. The sun's getting low. You can just barely see the first lights of the sun. Sorry, the moon is getting low.
Okay, there we go.
First lights of the sun.
Well, if it's
about a half moon.
Yeah, if it's getting smaller, the moon should already be below the horizon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Not that that matters at all, but you know. I love arguing.
Filtered light is beginning to show through the jungle canopy on the other side of the river.
Right. If I can't sleep, I'll just stay up and watch the sunrise or watch the sky grow lighter.
Sure.
I'm a little on
As the sun
edge.
rises, the fog seems to thin itself out.
Okay.
By the time you can see, there's no more fog.
About the time I can see, I want to go check out my albatross papoose. See how the albatross is doing.
Still alive, still unconscious.
I shrug. And then I'll just wait for the sunrise.
Yeah, it's effectively sunrise.
Okay. I wake up the others if they're not awake already.
They were just beginning to fall asleep. They look grouchy and upset to be disturbed, but they silently respect your summons and look for you to lead the way.
I lead.
They've slept in their armor, basically.
Yeah. I lead the way.
Okay, you climb the falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the marching order? It goes.
That's for you to decide.
Okay, I wanted to go Qualnir, Knoll, Flynn.
Okay.
And also, when I get to the top, how far below me is the knoll, and how far below the knoll is the Flynn, and what is the terrain? Like, what are they climbing for the last few, feet?
Okay.
Are we all like in a tight pack?
Roll one average climbing check for me, and just don't roll between a 96 and a 100. I'm not sure what your check is, but with bonuses,
33.
So you're fine. It's like I said, it's like a series of. It's mostly switchbacks carved into this granite cliff face. Mm-hmm. And there's a few sections where you've got to climb ladders or cross narrow wooden bridges. But you make it up, not a problem. Okay. The Knoll and the Flynn are a little slower, but they both manage to ascend as well. You reach the top. The last couple hundred feet are switchback. It's probably only 30 feet down and a couple hundred feet of switchback. And you reach the top and you look, and the knoll is probably 100 feet behind you. Mm-hmm. Just over one switchback away. So he's basically directly beneath you. Okay. About 15 feet.
That's the knoll?
The knoll, and the Flynn is just behind him.
Like just behind him, or like another 100 feet?
A comfortable several feet.
Okay.
5 or 10.
All right, but the knoll and the Flynn are pretty close together then.
And their shoulders are kind of stooped, and they're dragging their feet, huffing and puffing their way up.
I wait for them to catch up.
The sun is just starting to rise in the east, and it actually makes a rather breathtaking sight. You see that this, beneath the falls, the river, this massive river, splits 3 ways and eventually branches from there, forming this huge river delta that's sunken in altitude relative to the land you're standing on. Mm-hmm. So it sort of makes for this lush tropical valley.
Okay.
Goes all the way to the sea.
Okay, all right. I wait for them to catch up, and then together we continue along the river side to Yavis.
Yep, they catch up a minute or two later. I'm not sure what you're scheming there, but...
Well, if the Flynn was far enough behind the knoll, I was going to try and kill the knoll without the Flynn noticing, and then make it look like he fell or slipped or something.
You're bad.
Yeah, well, I was going to try and thin out their numbers.
You've thinned out their numbers pretty well. Rather, the Tosloid did that for you.
Yeah.
Yep, so they catch up.
Okay, cool. I guess we just continue Javis.
Yeah, along the shore the whole way.
Unless we come across something that looks better, but I don't. Unless there's a clearly marked path that says Javis this way, we're gonna go along the river.
Okay, it's rocky in parts, but in other parts the jungle goes all the way to the river.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it flattens out, and there's just like marshy reeds between the river and the jungle.
Let me know if I have to
so it's
submerge
slow
my
going.
backpack at any point.
No, it never gets above. You can always, stay within sight of the river and not be above your ankles.
Okay.
But it's uncomfortable. It's slow going.
Okay. Yeah, because if my backpack gets wet, the papyrus and the paper in it will go bad. I just want to know when to mark those off as rotten.
Yeah, you aren't getting wet. It's just slow going.
All right. Push it.
Yeah. So before noon, you catch a glimpse of the docks around the corner, and within a few more minutes, you're sort of bursting through the trees to the outskirts of the village. Roll a perception check.
21.
Yeah. So actually, when you see the village rounding the corner, you notice smoke rising.
Not like
thick black smoke.
Uh-oh. This is not normal smoke. This is not like typical campfire smoke.
It looks like it's rising from the village.
We push forward. Still trying to get there.
Yeah. Do you alter your course or your speed or anything of the sort?
No. Keep it slow and steady going along the river.
So my previous description stands. Within a few minutes, you burst forth from the jungle into the huts on the outskirts of the village.
Mm-hmm.
So you are successfully in Javis. Where your line of sight to the smoke is obscured by a few reed huts.
Okay. Sorry, I'm playing with something possibly better music for this, hopefully.
There's the one which I don't know.
I did Down by the Sea, because now we're kind of like by a dock.
Somewhere beyond the sea. Actually, how about there's a one with like ancient something or other. It's got like a picture of a carving.
Yeah, this sea music is not quite what we're looking for here.
Dark Continent it is called.
Okay, here we go. Going for it.
Yeah.
This stuff is really great. I'm so happy we found this.
Yeah.
So I look for signs of smoke.
Billowing in the distance, your line of sight obscured by huts.
But it looks like it's billowing from the town.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you are in the town, so nothing in the immediate vicinity is on fire, but it smells like ash.
How close to the healing hut did we come out?
The healing hut is suspended over water,
but
it's basically where you are. It's like a couple hundred feet
to
your left in the water.
Okay. I look to the gnolls and say, thank you for getting us here. I don't think I'll need you anymore. Although that smoke does look menacing. If you want to go, you're free to go now.
They nod and retreat into the jungle almost immediately.
Okay.
Jakob makes eye contact and gives a nod. I bid you farewell, Qualmir.
Farewell, Jakob.
Meet again.
We will, I promise. And I make my way for the healing hut.
All right, you walk for the healing hut. You walk out along the docks. You notice as you approach the entrance that the reed fan covering over the door has been torn off and is just laying carelessly tossed aside.
I poke my head in the hut and look around.
It's cluttered, but empty as far as you can see. Roll a perception check.
24.
There's no sign of a struggle or anything. It's cluttered, but you think it was that way when you first showed up here.
Shake my head, pat the albatross on the head one more time and go, okay, we'll find this guy soon, I promise, buddy. Just hang in there. And I start walking towards the smoke. And loosen my daggers. This music really changes things. I get a lot more nervous and on edge when this is playing now.
Fortunately, I can't hear it, but I know Stream is having a similar reaction.
Yeah.
Okay, so you step into the village.
I step into the village.
Smoke seems to be originating from the center. As you step closer, you think you hear the sound of drum beats.
How perfect. This music has drumming in it.
Bum, bum, bum. And you round a hut and you see a gathering of villagers gathered around a massive bonfire in the center of town.
I start walking towards it.
Okay. There's a few around the fire with drums, music, and dancing around the flames is a figure completely wrapped in large red feathers, dancing wildly.
What the shit?
Billowing from the bonfire is this thick black smoke that smells somewhat pleasant, actually, now that you're closer. It's sagey, maybe, like an herb, but it's just like a pile of this stuff. Bales and bales of it. You'd guess several dozen villagers.
Okay, I'd stand back and watch. Does the red feathered dude that's dancing about look like the holy man, the guy that healed us before?
You can't tell. So the creature, human presumably, is wearing a robe of brilliant red feathers that covers most of the body. And then on its head is it looks like a human skull, but it has a black beak covering the entire mouth, and like a red feather headdress drapes back behind that. Okay. And this creature is, dancing and flailing arms and, whirling wildly to the music.
I look for
crowd
someone.
Appears mesmerized.
I look for someone on the outskirts of the crowd, if possible. Maybe someone standing a little bit farther away than normal.
Yeah, like I said, there's a couple dozen people forming a bit of a circle around us. And there's about 4 drummers, and the dancer is just sort of circling the fire, making a circle about every minute or so.
I walk up to one of the guys and go,
yes,
what's going on?
Bare-chested, dark-skinned man, shaved head, shaved face, turns to look at you. You ask what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
A ceremony, he whispers to you.
What's the occasion?
To ward off the evil spirits.
I nod slowly. Where's the healing man, the holy man?
He points deeper into the crowd.
I nod, whisper thank you to him, and start walking closer to the holy man.
All right, you push your way through the crowd. Whispers pass before you, and the crowd parts, making your way to the center of this drum circle. Okay. You notice that the holy man is crouched over a large kettle drum with 2 sticks, and he's beating it furiously.
That's what she said. I tap him on the shoulder, and then lean in and whisper.
He keeps playing, but he makes eye contact with you.
I have returned. Where's Melissa? No, Michelle. Where's Michelle?
He smiles and nods. You're growing impatient, and then I'll roll a surprise check for you. You're not surprised to see the robed figure making its way towards you. It has broken its dance moves, and it is aggressively charging you, if you will.
Charging me?
Yeah. Roll.
I draw my knives and start backing up. 1! score.
All right, you go first.
Bloodletter one hand.
So you're being charged.
Normal dagger in the other
His
hand.
hands are in the air. All you see is just the skull and beak flapping red feather robes.
I have my weapons drawn.
You only have about 10 feet before you bump into crowd.
Okay.
You draw a dagger in each hand.
Draw a dagger in each hand and go. Don't come any closer. I swear to God, I will shank you.
Okay. The creature stops about 7 feet from you. Robe falls open, and you recognize a pair of breasts that are incomparable anywhere in the world. And you immediately recognize them on sight. You notice between them is a fresh and inflamed tattoo of runes that you don't immediately recognize. And in a familiar voice, echoing against the skull, "Qualnir! It is so good to see you!" She starts to step towards you.
I sheathe my
Reach
weapons
hands.
and go to give her a hug.
She catches a grip of your cufflinks. No, not cufflinks. Fuck are those?
Lapels.
Lapel. She grabs your lapel, and her fists sort of stop you in your tracks. "Please tell me you have silver. We need so much silver." And she shakes you hysterically.
I have a little. Why? What's the deal? What's going on?
She puts the skull on top of her head, revealing the familiar face of Michelle. Panting, dripping with sweat.
What's going on?
The spirits are real. You notice she's shaking. You're not sure if it's the exertion of the wild dancing or fear.
We're getting out of here then. Let's go.
The drums have lulled to a silence. We can't go as you move to step away. These people need us.
Michelle! Hey! Michelle! Snap out of it. What's gotten into you?
I'm lucid. I'm thinking as clearly as ever.
You've never... This is the first time you've ever stopped to care about someone else in our path. What is going on?
I was with you at first, but last night I saw them. The spirits. They emerged from the river in the fog. They took it. Everything the fog touched was theirs. Half of the village was theirs for the night.
Then let's get the hell out of this place. Take all these people, we'll all head to Centauron. This place is not safe if that's the case.
I think we can stop them. With enough silver, we can stop them.
I only have 17 silver pieces. It's not enough.
She droops.
What do you need the silver for?
Magics.
What sort of magics?
Enchantments. It doesn't matter. It's not enough.
Well, then we have to go back to Centauron to get more silver. You coming with me?
The crowd has fallen silent and is looking towards you.
I look around awkwardly, realizing everyone's staring at us and listening to our conversation. And I put my bag down on the ground and raise my hands and say, "People of Yavis, I hear your plight, and we are here to help. But if it is silver you need, we need to head to Centauron in order to get the silver."
Did you get that file I sent you?
I am downloading it now.
That is Michelle's character sheet. As soon as you hand her back the gear that you have returned to her, her harp and her bag, she is your henchman, should you choose to accept her.
I do choose to accept her, and
after this break, Neil and Neil alone will decide what he and Michelle do.
Okay. I hand her. Well, I say, "People of Yavis, if you need silver, we will get it for you, but we must go to Centauron to get it. I cannot promise to be back before tomorrow. The way is long and dangerous. If you would come with us, we will have you. If you would stay here and defend your homes, I understand. But we will be back."
And with that, let's take our first break.
All right. See you guys on the other side.